listeners to this podcast are very familiar with why we chose the name Selby is Godcast, but we have a very special guest here today, Zach.
We do. It's the two special guests, and one of them being kind of the man behind the name here. We have Bill Selby.
I'm here.
And we have Jolbert Cabrera.
Hi.
Two members of a stretch of time in Indians history where it seemed like just day after day it was a new fun memory. And then these two guys got to live that for a little bit. So welcome to your first time on the podcast.
Thanks for having us.
Are you claiming this podcast for real?
Hey, I like it.
Okay.
You want to give a little background on how we arrived at that?
Yeah.
Well, so last year, Bill, I interviewed you for a story on the 15-year anniversary of your famous Grandslam off Mariano Rivera. And do you want to tell us a little bit about that, the whole Selby fan club and the sign? And I know you had some interactions with them.
It's neat. I'll probably see him either today or tomorrow, too.
Okay.
So, it's a cool story. It's that year, it actually, you have to flip teams because I was drafted by the Red Sox, and I was playing in AAA at the beginning of the year. It was in April. This was way back in '96, and we were in Columbus back when Columbus's old stadium, and it was something like some 10-cent hot dog night or something. It was crazy. There was a lot of fans there, but it was just something that just brought a lot of fans in. But anyway, our series was over. So the last game was played. You have to walk down the left field line, and walk down the left field line. I was one of the younger guys. Nowadays, AAA and Jolbert can attest because he coaches professionally. It's younger kids. Back when I played, there were older kids there. I was one of the younger guys at the time. But anyway, I was coming down the left field line, and people were asking for autographs. It was late. We had an early flight the next day. But I remember stopping and signing autographs for several people, whatever. And well, that night I got called up to the big leagues. Well, Boston was in town here in Cleveland, so I met the Red Sox here in Cleveland. So my first game happened to be here with the Red Sox. So that night I ended up pinch hitting, and then the next day I was in the starting lineup, and the sign was there. The sign was there, and so I ended up signing it. It was Ryan Cunningham's sign, and I ended up signing it and talking to him. There's two other guys, and the story was, he said, look, we don't want anything from you. We just thought it was really cool that you took the time to stop, and here you are. We got to see your first major league game and everything like that. So the trips from then on out, whether I was here or not, you would see the sign every once in a while. Became friends. It was pretty cool. So I actually got in touch with Ryan to let him know I was coming back in town. I think he's going to be at a season ticket holder event that I'll be at tomorrow, so it'll be pretty cool to see him again.
So it's like an iconic sign. It's like that piece of cardboard that says Selby is God.
I just saw a picture of it today that Lindor had it too. I thought that thing's been around a long
like
time.
a cult hero almost.
Yeah.
Selby's God.
That's right.
Yes.
So we were thinking about names for the podcast. We wanted something that connected with Indians fans. You want something that's a little deeper than the surface level, obvious.
Right.
Something that really connects with Indians fans that would certainly remember your moment against Mariano Rivera, which we'll get to. And I think, Zach, you've finally suggested, because we talk about random moments all the time, and Jolbert, your walk-off in the Seattle Mariners game is always going to be a fond memory for Indians fans. And we thought, we've got Selby is God. We have podcasts. Why not just combine the two? So it became the Selby is Godcast.
That's really unique.
And
I like it.
Fans seem to like it, and we've stuck with it. And kind of organically, that's how we arrived at it. So we are super excited to have you on today.
Yeah.
Jolbert, you as well, just to kind of relive some of the Indians, your glory days and some of the Indians' glory days of the past too. But you want to start with the moment that created this, the icon that...
Were you were with the Indians? It was 2002, your last year here?
Yeah, 2002 was my last year.
Okay.
Halfway through the season, I got traded to LA.
Okay. Was it before?
Because he got traded, I got called back up.
That's what I was...
There is a unique connection with that, because I was sent down about 5 or 6 days ago.
Okay.
Because you were hurt and came off the disabled
That's
list.
what, after I got chained those season.
And as soon as he came back, they traded him, and I got recalled. So,
how often does that home run get brought up just in your everyday life now?
a lot.
Still.
Well, Kipnis hit one the other night,
Right.
so it's like, hey, I saw someone in Cleveland walk off Grand Slam.
Well, gonna get even bigger when he gets into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. So it does. You know, again, I've told you this before, but I'm from a small place in Mississippi, and you know, the little guy that's done a few things, and so kind of, you know, I've had friends that relived it, and you know, my son will pop it up on YouTube every once in a while and show a friend of his or something like that. So yeah, it flies around in circles quite frequently.
Can you take us through that at bat? What, as you're going to the plate, what's going in your mind as you're facing, you know, Mariano Rivera? You know, still hasn't ascended to, I don't know, maybe what he eventually became as a surefire Hall of Fame type pitcher, but still one of the best pitchers in the game at the time.
Oh yeah.
You know, what are you thinking as you're walking to the plate?
Well, you got to go back a couple of innings. I mean, and this is what's funny about it, because this is the stuff only players really talk about.
Right.
It's because I'd been recalled, and I want to say the day before. Because I actually pinch hit off Mariano the night before and grounded out. And the next day I was starting, and it was, I'll never forget it, because it was Mike Mussina was pitching. There were shadows.
Good night.
It was like, what's happening? So I got off to a bad start in the game, but I can remember in the 8th inning, Mike Stanton was pitching, came out of the bullpen, was left-handed pitching, and I ended up getting a hit. And as guys that played off the bench a lot, you know, if you could salvage that 1 for 3 or 1 for 4, you know, you feel good until the next time you play.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, I'm good until the next.
Nice.
If you pull an 0 for 4, then you're like, oh, you're stressed until that next chance you get. So anyway, I can remember in the 8th inning, I got a hit, and I thought, if nothing else, I just salvaged the day. Well, as the inning started happening, the bottom of the ninth started happening, you could just see the momentum happening. I remember looking over at Lee Stevens. You remember Lee Stevens was here at the time, and he says, "We're gonna hit again, buddy." And I can remember, man, I don't want to hit off this guy. And I just got my one hit. I was like, man, I'm good. And so it was funny because sure enough, it just started coming around. I remember going down underneath and hitting off the tee some and having to calm down, just say a prayer. So look, good Lord, if this is what you want me to do, then I need a little help right here. So, but you know, you walk up to the plate, and it's just any other situation in baseball. I mean, it was grand at the time, but you're up there to do your job, you know. And I can remember going 2-0, and I was taken all the way, because you can go back and listen to Tom Hamilton talking. He said, well, that might have been his best pitch to hit. And I'm like, you know, walks pretty good.
You ain't up here hitting
but
either.
but anyway, but after a couple pitches, you get locked in and you kind of understand what he's doing. You know, that's the thing. That's the beauty about, especially how talented some of these players that play throughout this league through the course of history, how talented they are, and how they're out there with their crafts. You know what they're doing. It's no secret, and yet they can still be so successful in doing what he's doing. There's no question what Mariano does to left-handers. He throws cutters in, and then he breaks bats. And right-handers, he front doors a cutter. And I mean, it's no secret. So, but you know, I remember hitting the ball foul. I hit a foul ball that could have won it too. And I remember, you know, a lot of times in those situations, and now that I've coached it and Hobart do too, you kind of feel the emotion that every player goes through that comes up. When you're a player, it's unique to yourself, but when you're a coach or a manager, you're feeling all of them, because you know, and I can, so many times it's happened to watch guys I just missed, and their emotions is just a big adrenaline dump, and they're like, oh, I wouldn't let it happen. I was like, no, I just got to walk it off, go slow, get back there, and everything's gonna be fine. Get you another pitch, and that's what happened. Then it was, you know, you forget the next 2 hours of having fun and everything like that. So, but yeah, it was a good moment.
Hobart, did you face Mariano much?
One time, I think the ball travels about 2 feet. It was embarrassing. It was a pinch hit in New York. It was, I think that's the year that he was trying to come out with a sinker, and that one really sank. His ball was so heavy.
It's the one thing I think is really cool about, and maybe it's just a bias, just the baseball thing, but it seems like more than any other sport, you can have anyone on any given day kind of play that role of hero. So, you know, Bill, whether it was your home run against Mariano or Hobart, your walk-off against the Mariners on that day, it seems like more than any other sport, you know, whether it's the last guy on the bench or the guy that's the superstar, somebody can have their time kind of in the spotlight.
Well, that is the beauty of it. I think that's, you know, with, you know, Hobart played a lot longer than I did, but very similar in some years where he had to, he would play left field or he had to play shortstop or second base. And I can attest for his career in the times I was with him of how hard he worked at his craft, how much time and effort he put into it. And we've talked about the changes of the professional game now, but I think that's why you play the game, because you know that at any point in a game or in a series or in a championship series, just like Rajai Davis with his home run. I mean, it was such a moment in time, and then all it takes is somebody else doing it the next time, and it's just, and so it is very rewarding. I think that's why it's an easy sport to like, because it's like you said, you don't have to be Jim Thome to have moments. You don't have to be, Francisco Lindor to have moments. Everybody can have them, and you just got to be ready for when those opportunities come.
So when it's a 12-0 game, awesome. And you're substituting in for somebody,
for a Hall of Famer. But somebody a Hall of Famer.
But what's in just any blowout game like that? What's going through your mind when you enter late just to give someone off their feet?
Like Bill say, you just gotta stay ready, because you never know what every other day is gonna bring to the table for you as a utility player. But fourth inning actually, I entered the game in the fourth. And I said, well, I get 3 at-bats, I get 1 hit, go home happy.
Those are important 3 at-bats for guys that don't get to play all the time.
Yeah, so my first at-bat, I remember I have a RBI double. After Cordero hit a double, I got an RBI double. Then things just start building up inning by inning. We start chipping away. All of a sudden, here comes this moment where we're in the ninth, and they have Sasaki closing the game already, and we never thought we were gonna see him, but we already went through Nelson,
right?
And we got him. So Omar is hitting. Omar was hitting second that day. They Lofton hit that base hit, and Omar hit that triple to tie the game. So I got a chance in the ninth to win the game. And I ground out sharply like one hopper to third base.
Right.
Who's now my boss? What's his name? David Bell.
Yeah.
Just grab that ball and throw to first base. But then in the 11th, same situation. They walk Omar and load the base. Oh no, first and second base. Walk Omar first and second, and the guy at the pitching was Paniagua, who I come up with him, so I know all his pitches. I know what he's gonna do. So
that's an Expos guy.
Yeah, Expos guy. So he was my roommate actually in Double A. So I know he's gonna come with that hard sinker that he has. I'm like, got it cheat. I'm luckily, to this day, I hit that ball hard. I hit that ball good.
My son just said that 2 days ago. We watched it.
Yeah.
Because he was asking me about you, and I said, we'll pull up that game. And he watched it. He said, that bat broke, but he hit that ball hard.
I hit that ball good, but you know what? Because the bat broke, allows Kenny to score.
Right.
Because if not, he get thrown out.
Yeah.
It would have been just a little bit harder.
Just a little bit harder.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
So it was one of those moments where guys go, a little bit softer, please. Just blessed. Me and Billy, we play together. We come out together, and we're kind of similar players, but some kind of different. Because my game was speed. His game, he has some power. He was a good hitter. But in a way, we relate. Our careers a lot. And we have fun playing together. Both work very, very hard, and we're very fortunate to play this game for a long time.
When you see Taubensee pick up Kenny, do you think he's going to body slam him at that point?
Oh, God. Actually,
he's got him upside down over his head.
Taubensee was my co-worker last year. He worked for the Giants for a little bit last year, and we talk about that all the time. But it was a great moment, to add on to that moment. Couple years later, I remember I'm playing for somebody else, and got a game-winning hit against the against Pinella.
Oh, yeah.
So third time comes around, and in Cincinnati, he have Woods in the pitching. He walks the guy Encarnacion in front of me. He walking to pitch to me, and I got another game winning. So I got my career. I have 5. I have 3 against them, against teams managed by Pinella. And after the game, he goes, somehow.
Live for the moment.
No, he goes, somehow that name sounds familiar. Like, we've been there before. And somebody somebody bring it up.
Right.
Like, well, he got 3 walk-off against teams managed for you. And hey,
awesome.
just the way things happens in baseball.
How much fun! You guys had so many personalities in those clubhouses, and I know, if any team wins, they're gonna blast the music and have a good time. But just from a day to day, how much fun was it being around some of those guys who seemed larger than life almost?
That's part of what I miss from playing. It's just, somebody called me, a gentleman in Buffalo that's writing a book on Jeff Manto.
Okay.
And
we just mentioned him on this podcast.
and he wanted some comments and wanted me to talk about him. And Jeff was a lot like Tommy was. After a game, those guys would go from locker to locker and just talk about baseball, and they weren't in a hurry to hurry up and get out. I think the culture's a little different nowadays and see how quick we can get out. But
Definitely.
They just sit around and talk baseball, but yet they'd keep it light, especially Manto. Mickey was something else. But I think that's what's the uniqueness about the fraternity of baseball is that you do come across so many personalities that make the 162 games and 180 days fun. Because sometimes it does. Sometimes it is stressful. Sometimes it's difficult and all the things that go on. But you just run across so many people that have their own stories. That's what's cool about it.
Well, to add on to that, now that I'm in the other side, because we were so fortunate to be around so many different personalities, and that I saw what work in a clubhouse, what don't work in a clubhouse. I'm able to use that to my advantage as a manager in the minor league. So in my clubhouse, that music is still always playing.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you win or lose, because any given day that's gonna happen. You're gonna lose, you're gonna win, but you gotta keep the same attitude all the time.
When you hit that ball off Rivera, it's in the air forever. When you have a moment like that, does it feel like it's in slow motion? Does it feel like it's going fast? When you're in a situation like that and you come through, what does that feel like in the moment?
Again, I'm still recalling because, like I said, my son and I watched his video at least 3 or 4 times. This not literally 2 or 3 days ago. We watched it, and then you kind of relive some of the moments. I think running around the bases, I wouldn't really. It was just like this just happened. It just really happened, and you kind of get. I really didn't know anything other than wow, that just happened. That was awesome, and I got home plate, and then I got smoked in the head by Jimmy, and Tommy drilled me in the ground. But I think you stay on that air of invincibility for a while. I mean, whether it just like Kipnis the other night, even though he is a superstar who's had many of those moments, it's still surreal when it happens. That you're like, wow, that just happened, and this is, it's the elation that you go through with is what makes. I use the Browns. I mean, it's like winning the Super Bowl. After the Browns won their game, what's it, 500 and how many days?
Almost 600.
Almost 600 days before they won their last. And those are the kind of things that you live for in sports. That's what makes it such a valuable commodity for, happiness and enjoyment. So,
is it fun when you guys can build connections where 15, 16 years later, after you're done playing, you can come back to these, come back here, and fans still remember these moments and still relive them like it just happened yesterday? What does that feel like as a player? Just to have that?
No doubt. And you know what? It's funny now that you say that, because soon they don't want to remember, because a lot of the people that saw us doing it. They're not going to be around. Yeah. This younger generation are just brought up differently. They don't know like the history of the game. They just live for the moment.
Right.
Home runs, the game is so different now, but it's definitely special when you get to live those moments over and with teammates, with friends. But Cleveland Indians fans, and I speak for myself, for what I live in the this past January during the fantasy camp. Mm-hmm. They don't forget.
No, they don't.
Oh my God! Really, and they wanted to know, like exactly like what we're doing right now, without the phone in front of me. But they ask you everything. They want to know like how you do that, how you do this, how was this guy. They want to know everything, but they remember every single moment, and that's what's special.
And like when that moment's happening, you don't think, oh, people are going to remember this for the rest of my life.
Not a bit. You just, we kind of raise our hand like, man, that just happened. I got a chance for something good to happen to me, but you don't realize the impact that it may happen, it may have years later. I still have people that will send me a text, and I've never heard of it. I still get baseball cards about it, in the mail that said, hey, I remember when you hit that walk-off. It's like, so, I mean, we have a career other than the,
sure,
a walk-off hit and things like that. But the connection that you make with former teammates, I haven't seen Jolbert, spoken with Jolbert in years, but instantly when you see him or you see each other, it just brings back a whole bunch of things that you've experienced together and people you've met and you've played with and you've come across. That's what's really cool about it.
Did that happen when your brother played here that one year? Did that happen where like just those memories came flooding back because he was going to Cleveland?
Of course, but I keep telling him, like, hey, why you keep following me all over wherever I go? Because I play here, they end up playing here. Or playing in Cincinnati, when I'm playing Cincinnati, like, why are you trying to get my... I didn't when I'm playing Boston. You keep that for yourself. Leave some
Just stay
stuff.
there, yeah.
Yeah. But, no, definitely. And he have different experiences. Orlando was a superstar. Even though he never played in any All-Star game, and that's unbelievable. But he have a great career. Played for a long time. Was really smart player. But he has his own, some moments. But yeah, we talk about stuff like places that we like to be, or that we like to go in every stadium or every city that we visit as players. But other than that, he won the World Series, so he got that going for him. So,
Well, we thank you guys for taking a few minutes today. We really appreciate indulging a couple idiot writers that still talk about this all the time on this podcast. Just real quick, what are you guys up to now? Phil,
I've been coaching. I retired after the 2005 season, and I've been coaching at the junior college I went to since then. I missed 2 games. I'm trying to get an update on the second one. But, I've been doing that this is my 14th season, so still in the game.
We were talking about that, and that's funny when I text Billy, and he's like, no, I've been coaching for 14. I'm like, Jesus. And then, because we were talking about coaching, this is my 6th year coaching. My 4th year, it's going to be my 4th year next year with the Giants. I managed the single A team in Augusta in the Sally League this year. I just got promoted to AAA. I'm going to Sacramento, so we were talking about, the stuff that I'm going to be doing now, and how important it is, and how exciting I am to do it. But the game is one. It doesn't matter how much changes they want to implement it into it. They will come and go, and the game is going to be come back. It's always going to come back to the root, which is fundamental baseball, hit behind the runners, bunt. That those cycles always come and go, and I can't wait for the next one to come because it's launch angles and stuff like that.
You're not sitting down with StatCast and looking at exit velocity.
I got to. I get these messages from a person that is behind a computer. Hey, I think the best lineup would be this, because I'm like, yeah, your computer says that, but right now I got this guy that can hit lefties. This guy don't like to hit third. Yeah. So, I'm the one who have to go with the human factor.
Right.
With the computer it's easy. Because, this one base percentage and this and OPS, all of that. Like, it don't work like that in the minor leagues. In big leagues, you got a bigger size sample. Right. Minor leagues, you can do it.
Well, thank you again, guys. We could sit here and do this forever, and you guys probably would love to do it forever, but we'll let you get to your weekend duties. But thanks again for stopping by the podcast. We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
It was a pleasure.